of Universal Broadcasting Network at UPNradio.com.
Hi guys, this is Sunny Chayes, and you are with us on Singing in the Rain. Let's open to the sacred divine today. We sort of need to because the energy is a little strange out there, and I think that this would be a good idea. And I am very graced and blessed to have Jami Lula in the house today with his guitar. Jami is a vocalist extraordinaire. A lot of you guys have heard him at Agape, and he's in the New Thought, circuit. He's one of those guys. He's also a teacher and inspirational musical supporter of important organizations such as the Special Olympics, AA, Project Angel Food. That's the organization that feeds inbound people with AIDS and HIV, founded by Marianne Williamson, actually, a long time ago. Hope for Abused Women Foundation, and also Jami's music has been used in film and TV scores, and he does perform regularly at Agape, and he's now doing things with his wife, taking sort of his message and his way and his beauty a little deeper and a little broader. So let's just bring Jami on. Hi, Jami.
Hi, Sunny. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Excellent. It's a great day.
Thank you. So before we were chatting, I wanted to actually, as I do on this show, I want people to kind of get an idea about what you've come from a little bit and where it's taken you. And guys, I'm so excited. As you see, I hope you can see, for those who are only audio, Jami actually has his guitar in his lap. So we're going to be actually talking, singing, kind of like that. Mainly Jami. So let's talk a little bit about your your heart and what, and a little bit about what you've kind of gone through that's brought you to this place as we sit here on this day.
What's interesting is what brought me to Agape was, I gotta say, I've been sober for just over 20 years. And it's everything good in my life's a direct result of that journey for me. I come from a long line of drug, alcohol, abusers, sexual abusers, which has been part of my story as well. But it was a man from program that actually took me to Agape on a Wednesday night. And I'd been sober for 2.5 years, and my father passed away. And I didn't sleep for 3 days. I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned. So I smoked some non-habit forming marijuana and eventually had to go back in and, say that I was, that I wasn't sober any longer. And 9 months after getting sober again, I was essentially in a suicidal depression. I just got really dark. And at that time in my life, I don't know that I really knew how to grieve the loss of someone. My father was the most significant person in my life at that point that I'd lost. And a friend from program said, you're doing all the right work, but the only thing I'm not hearing you talk about is your spirit. And he took me to Agape on a Wednesday night. And I heard Michael speak. And interestingly enough, that was in my early 30s. I must have been 34 years old, 33 years old at the time. And in my late teens, kind of in the height of my drug and alcohol abuse, I had an epiphany. And I come from a Catholic background. So God's out there on a cloud judging the out of me for everything that I do, think, say. And I had this epiphany that I was coming down off of something one day, and the epiphany that hit me was God's not out there. God's within me, and we're not right, and they're not wrong. And I just thought to myself,
whoa,
what is that? Because that, my heroes.
That's it.
It is it, but at 17, coming from a Catholic background, it's like I kind of looked around and was like, wow, where did that come from? Because I had nothing to relate it to. I know now where it came from, which kept me on my path. And, even my drug and alcohol abuse, there was a spiritual path that was going on there.
Sure.
I was trying to connect with something.
Yes.
And so I got to Agape, and things started to unfold. I then, proceeded. I've continued my sobriety, and eventually got to the University of Santa Monica. Did a master's program in spiritual psychology, and about that time, with my band, after getting to Agape, I started wanting to write music, more sacred music. It was just moving through me, going through the classes with Reverend Michael and Foundations, and just getting the teachings and getting this open at the top teaching where no one's right and no one's wrong. It's like, we're all honoring the same God. We're all honoring the same divine essence. We just have different ways of articulating it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
is there any sort of song that comes to your mind that at this moment that you might want to play for us, like something that really moved you at Agape, or something that was yours, or some little ditty that came out at that time?
Well, actually, my wife of 12 years and my partner for the last 15, the way that we got together was we were prayer partners. And she had said she was doing a 30-day prayer devotional with Reverend Kathleen McNamara, and I said, "What's that?" She said, "Well, we call each other every morning, and we hold each other in prayer. We see what we want to be held in prayer for, and we do that." I said, "I want to do that." And about 2 weeks into it, we started dating, because we weren't an item, we were just friends, but something was. And then one day we were praying, and I said, "I gotta go. There's a song coming," and this is the song that.
Ooh, okay.
Something's calling me. Something's calling me. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Feels like I'm walking on marbles. Can't still the earth beneath my feet. Is my head in the clouds, my naked legs left dangling. I can feel my heart begin to pound. Whoa. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. That's right. The long dark night, my soul, it wanders. Can't see the light that moves me. If God is everything and everywhere that I belong, Spirit gently wakes me from my sleep. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. You go on, girl. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Little call and answer.
Okay.
Oh Lord, oh Lord, take me deeper than I've ever been before. Oh Lord, oh Lord, pull me deeper than I've ever been before. Oh Lord, I know I'm not the only one to live inside these blues. Oh Lord, oh Lord, I give my life, I give my love to you. Oh Lord, oh Lord, I surrender my life to you. is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Peace is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Faith is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. God is calling me, and I'm grateful like I've never been before.
Whoa, Jamie, come on. Oh my God. You know, I want to share with you that, and thank you, John, for that, because we would have much more applause. That you really bring it. You're talking about you're the vessel. Yeah, I that's how I feel about you. That's really something. Thank you for that, because people have been talking about the energy and Mercury in retrograde and the lunar and the solar eclipse and all this kind of crazy energy that's been going on around. And then there's also the idea that we create our own reality. And then there's also that we can rise above all of that and really create our own reality. And I have been in a place in the last a couple of weeks where normally my life is rockin', and it still is, but there are little things that have been going on that are just really like, what? And I notice that I keep saying things like, the energy is so weird, I feel so ungrounded, I really need to be careful and all that. I pratfalled in the middle of a street in Venice, practically broke things in my body. Luckily, I sat there and said, okay, this cannot be because I have things to do. I can't have problems. But I mean, literally, I couldn't walk that night, and then I healed it, and it was fine. You and I were both talking about I got sideswiped, you got sideswiped with my brand new car. Like, really, people? So many other things like that, and I realized, you know, I need to just calm down and just center back, because it felt like things were getting a teensy bit unraveled. And John, you know about that because you know about energy. And so, but is it also possible that we can rise above all that and we don't have to be part of the energy thing? Yeah?
No, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, those are just the circumstances. You can always rise above the circumstances.
Right. And so the way I just sort of just today, because this sideswiping happened to me last night, I was just parked in a very nice area, and then I came out to my car this morning, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And so I drove over. I'm working on a project, and I went over to be working on it, and I was just having that feeling. I just felt sort of nervous and kind of pissed off and kind of like, what the hell is going on? And then I realized, I'm kind of buying into a lot of that. I need to just get back to my meditation. I need to just get centered. I need to just remember. And the holidays are coming, and it's a time of joy, and I was getting a little stressed about that. And so thank you for that song, because that is actually really the truth. Not all this Mercury's in retrograde stuff.
You know, I do something called what I've coined praying for miles. Oftentimes when the first time I did it, I was on the way up to a conference up at Asilomar, and I was going in with a whole group of musicians I'd never worked with before. In my mind, I know neither one of you can relate, or anybody in your audience can relate to this, but my mind was saying, oh, they're not going to like you. Who do you think you are? You're not good enough and all that. And I moved into affirmative prayer, and it's like, you know what? I'm going to go up there and I'm going to have the best time, and I'm going to make some great friends, and I'm going to be really prosperous, and I'm really going to open hearts, and I'm going to keep my heart open. And it's like, you know, I'm going to walk in there with the undefended heart. I'm going to walk in with the undefended heart, and I'm just going to be that space of love and enthusiasm and joy, and you know, and then I was, you know, and I'm just like, and so it is. And then 30 minutes later, you know, it would come up, and I would begin praying for miles as I'm driving. And, you know, I find that when I remember to do that, because I'm willing to change my mind about the way that I want to perceive things. but I've got to take the action steps.
Right.
And it's the ongoing process of continuing to move back into that place of like, no, I'm going to change my mind, and I'm not going to stay in this place of fear, of doubt and worry, because I've gotten caught there quite a bit in my life, depression, darkness and whatnot. But when I remember that I'm one with the infinite, that I can move back into that affirmative prayer of my life and change my mind about the way that I'm seeing myself or the world, things lighten up, and then I can smile.
Absolutely. Like the word enlightenment,
Yes.
it's about light. It is
Right.
about lightness. It's not about let's be heavy and, and serious and everything.
Right.
It's really about bringing the joy. And we were talking earlier about humor.
Right.
We were talking about Tom Shadyac and I Am and stuff like that. And we were talking about that, enlightenment,
Yeah.
and the Rinpoches and the Dalai Lama. I'm actually going to have a Rinpoche on here. The
really?
Dalai Lama's Rinpoche is coming in 2 weeks. I'm so excited. He
brilliant.
speaks very heavy accent of Tibetan, so we'll see how we do. But but he's, they're always laughing, and no matter what's going on, it's just absolutely amazing. So it's such a great illustration of how life can be, and just remembering to remember. I love that that you just said that.
But isn't it? I mean, in the context of this, isn't it about the continued action step?
Yes.
Spirituality and living in bliss. We just did this retreat in Bali. My wife and I led a retreat there. We took our son. There were 28 people. It was beautiful. And what kept coming up for me is that our process is not something that we just because when I first got sober, I thought, oh, this is it. My life is going to get good. It's all going to be fine. And what I've come to realize is that the continued process. If I don't get up in the morning and get my mind going in the direction that I want it to go into, then it will go into any one of thousands of directions. So our spirit and the maintenance of our spirit is that continued action step.
Absolutely. I did a class with Michael Beckwith. You studied with him too. And one of the questions he asked me was like, what are you up to? And I said, you know what I'm up to? I'm up to figuring out who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I think I know who I am, I'm going to dig in some more.
Right.
And then when I think that's really what's up, I'm going to really dig, because I feel that to be a spiritual, sacred, integral person, doing whatever work we're doing, if we're working in a bakery or we are actually a minister or
Right.
anything in between and all of it, and I can just feel for myself, even with my kids or my friends or whoever it is, I'm not really that much fun if I don't really know what's going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
And telling the truth about who I am, what I want, what works for me, what doesn't work for me.
Right.
Boundaries were never really my strong suit.
Right.
And I was lucky or blessed or clever or something that I always surrounded myself with amazing people. And I didn't really get into the drug thing or any of that. I kind of was Pollyanna through my life, or Mr. Magoo, really. I was very much more like Mr. Magoo, like the 2x4. I mean, the pothole was there, and I was like, oh, what a lovely pond, like all the time. And so that's kind of my life, and it was great. I was sort of the golden girl until I wasn't, and then it was like, whoa, what's going on? And to remember that, but then it's like, yeah, you know what? I do need to eat, or I do need to whatever it is, or I really need to work out, or I'm going to be cranky, or what is the real truth with me? And again, of course, that when we all do that, there was somebody brilliant who talked about that. Actually, it was Gandhi. Actually, that if we all keep digging, like we all end up at the same grain of sand.
Right.
We're all that
Right.
same grain of sand.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm paraphrasing. I just said that, but that kind of thing. And so that's kind of, but that's doing it. That's doing it every day, every opportunity that comes up. So I've considered all this goofiness lately that's been going on with me, like good opportunities for growth and for seeing what I don't want. Like, okay, that's not working.
Well, it's also, for me, it's that ability to discern, like the Mercury in retrograde and the solar flares and the flat tire and sideswiping all that. It's like there's the one point of of going, okay, what's trying to get my attention? But it's also being able to discern when I'm trying to do a spiritual bypass, or when it's like, life just happens.
Right, exactly.
Life is, this woman, she had just that sideswiped me. God bless her. I mean, I got out of the car and I went, you finished the word, It's like, I was so, and I actually texted her later and I said, I'm really sorry for the way that I acted when I got out of the car. The bottom line, I was scared.
Yes,
because
exactly.
we were going about 55 and she just came into my lane and she sideswiped me. And she was so sorry and she said, don't worry about it, I understand. But she was really lovely, but it was like she had just dropped her boyfriend off at the airport. She says, I wasn't in my body. I was just not paying attention. I'm so sorry. I mean, she totally, was accountable for it and stuff like that. And
which is lovely. That's not always the case. So that's a nice modeling of behavior right there.
It was a great modeling of behavior. And I mean, she could have, it's like we've experienced people that have gone, why'd you just hit me? And it's like, well, you just pulled my lane. But it was just such a, when I was able to look back on it, because what I talked about earlier about the undefended heart, my armor, when I get frightened, my armor goes up.
Right.
People see me perform, people have watched me teach for years, but they don't know the person outside of that. And it's like, my job now is to go into the world with the undefended heart. Nothing can hurt, harm, or endanger me. Mm-hmm. I go out into the world and sometimes, I was like, I'm surrounded and indwelled by the clear white light of the Holy Spirit. I'm divinely protected, guided and protected. Nothing can hurt, harm, or endanger me. It's like, once again, changing my mind about the way that I see it. So I don't go out with my dukes up and my armor on, but I go out in the world with an open heart, because I know that that's who I am. But what I learned very early on from, having been sexually abused and other things in my life, was that's my first reaction.
Yeah.
And I witness it with my wife, and I witness it with my son, and it's like, my son is 11 years old and will look at me and is like, Daddy, why are you so angry with me? Or why are you, and I've got to stop and go, I'm just scared.
Yeah.
And to be able to articulate, and to hear an 11-year-old to be able to articulate to his father, because that wasn't my experience with my father. My father was like, I was afraid I was going to get beat with a belt. I was afraid that I was going to, he was going to harm me. And my son doesn't have that. He's got a totally undefended heart. And
you want to keep it that way
and
as
I
much as you can.
Absolutely. And so I've got to mirror that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he sees when I do this, when I do it with his mother.
Yeah.
And, my wife is, when I met her, by far was one of the most loving individuals I'd met.
She is
ever.
very lovely.
And yeah, she's fabulous. I was when you were talking about the other things you're doing with the women, I was just like, oh, Susie, you got to get
Cool.
Susie on. She's amazing.
Okay.
She's brilliant.
We'll do that. Yeah. You were talking about your child and also about, telling the truth and stuff like that. And I had a really great opportunity that was given to me. I had a guest on my show, and then he's writing a new book. And so he wanted me to submit a chapter for the book, which is super exciting. I mean, I've not done that before in that way. And I thought, and it has to be something optimistic or something, like that. And I read his other book, and I was a little bit judgmental, like a lot of things seemed very elementary to me. I thought, oh. So I thought, well, okay, I really want to do something amazing, and I just couldn't really come up with anything. And then all of a sudden it hit me. Mm-hmm. I will write a letter to my kids.
Wow.
Yeah. And so what I did was I just kind of finished it. I just finished it this morning. Actually, that's what I was working on, and I'll see if I'm really finished. I may tweak it. And what I was able to tell them was I left them in San Francisco. I lived up there for a really long time, and I came down here for some opportunities, and also feeling like it just was more happening for me here than there. And also that they were okay, that they were old enough. They were 16 and 21. It was like, okay, they had enough with mom. It's okay. What I didn't plan on was that they weren't completely okay, that they really did miss me, which I didn't really know that would happen. And I really didn't count on me just feeling like I had a death. I mean, it hit me way harder than I thought. Yeah. So I wrote this letter to them and kind of really being able to tell them sort of what I'm telling you now, but like I really got down about that and how I just broke my heart open. If I had any idea, I probably couldn't have even done it. And then moving through what has happened here, you know, the opportunities that have happened, this radio show, the people I've been able to play with, the people I've been able to in my little prayer bowl bring together. Because other people, for example, will hear this show that you're doing and something will happen with you with someone else, like probably 4 people at least. I just guarantee you. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will. Yeah. And that's what happens with my guests, and I love that. You know, people come together and then you guys all go off and do some amazing thing. So I talked about that, and then I also talked about how I saw their growth with me not being around, and how they've really been able to find their own sea legs and really get at their passions and their truths and their desires, and they're living cool lives. And you know, kind of ending it with this is just another chapter. It's like the story is not over. I plan on having it be kind of different, and we can play more. And anyway, we're not that old, you know, we all still have a little time left, you know, and love Mom. But it was I was able to really stay with it, writing that, and I feel a lot better, even though I'm always sad. Like every day I'm not always sad, but I have this feeling of like they're not with me and I'm not in their day-to-day life. Just even writing that and telling the truth to myself and to anyone who will read this book, and especially to my kids, what that is. And for me, that allows me more permission to open up and have more stuff come in too.
Yeah.
So thanks for letting me share that with you.
No, it's beautiful, because William said this morning, he found out that I'm going to be out of town for Thanksgiving, that I'm going to be back in the Midwest. I'm going to be in Detroit with my family. And he found out, and he said, Daddy, you're not going to be here for Thanksgiving? And he said, you weren't here last. Like, I've been here every holiday. and he went in the other room, and Susie said, he's just really disappointed that he's finding out this way.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it beautiful that he's able to articulate his disappointment
Absolutely.
at 11 years old? And, you know, I'm hearing what you're saying, and it's like maybe I can go to him and explain what's shifted since I've transitioned out of my teaching job after 24 years and am going out in the world to be the artist that I came here to be. I'm out on the road a lot more. So I hear what you're saying, reflecting back to your children, how I'm seeing your growth, how you're changing and shifting, how you're relating to the world, how you're relating to your mother, how you're relating to your classmates. That's fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
Fabulous.
And yes, and then with him, it is absolutely incredible that he can vocalize that to you, because then you can then address it. This isn't something he'll be in some shrink when he's 28. My dad was never home for Thanksgiving, even though you missed 2 out of 24 or something.
Yeah.
But they say we always remember like that one, and that became they always or they never.
I know that one.
So is there any music that you actually ever sing for your son?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I'm taking him to Agape tonight because it's Youth Sunday, where they're doing the message and the music and everything at Agape.
Oh.
And Reverend Leon called me yesterday and said, would William get up and sing one of your songs? Because they're trying. So
fantastic. I love Rev Leon. He's been on my show a bunch of times. He's
Reverend
the best.
Leon's amazing.
So
this is the song.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love it.
It's called, the way that it came about is, when I drive him to school every morning, I'd look in the rearview mirror and I'd say, William, you're going to have the best day of your life. And he'd go, yeah, Daddy, I'm going to have the best day of my life. And so I started writing this song. It's going to be the best day of my life. In the golden sun or snowy white. Gonna use a smile as my fashion. Gonna let my love be in action. It's gonna be the best day of my life. Run and jump, play a good game. Stumble and fall, make some mistakes. Did I give it my all? Did I do my best? Can't compare myself with all of the rest. Oh, it's gonna be the best day of my life. Ooh la 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 la. In the golden sun or snowy white. Ooh la 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 la. Gonna use a smile as my fashion. Gonna let my love be in action. It's gonna be the best day of my life. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh la 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 la, best day of my life. Ooh la 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 la, best day of my life. Ooh la 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 la, best day of my life. Ooh la 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 la, best day of my life. Rain or shine, it's a beautiful feel. Wanna dance to the thunder, singing like steel. Is it bright outside or cold to the bone? Muggy hot, no wind, awaiting a storm. Oh, it's gonna be the best day of my life. Ooh la 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 la. In the golden sun or snowy white. Ooh la 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 la. Gonna use a smile as my fashion. Gonna let my love be in action. It's gonna be the best day of my life. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh la 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 la, best day of my life. Ooh la 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 la, best day of my life. Ooh la 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 la, best day of my life. Ooh la 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 la, best day of my life. Oh, life's an adventure, life is a joy. Oh, we need no permission to live like we love it and love who we want to. Oh, it's gonna be the best day of my life. Ooh la 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 la. In the golden sun or snowy white. Ooh la 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 la. Gonna use a smile as my fashion. Gonna let my love be in action. It's gonna be the best day of my life. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh la 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 la, best day of my life. Ooh la 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 la, best day of my life. Ooh la 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 la, best day of my life. Ooh la 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 la, best day of my life.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I love that song.
Thank you very much. You know, the interesting part of that story is that when I always would walk him into his class, and there was a woman that was out in front of the class who I'd never really talked to. He was in 4th grade, and I'd never really talked to her in the first 3 years. So I started getting the song. It's gonna be the best day in the golden sun. So I got this song idea going in my head, and I realized I don't have my phone to record it. So I'm sitting there talking to her, and she's telling me about how she's going to start acting again, and she's really lovely and nice, but the whole time I've got this song going in my head. And do you write songs, John? Yeah. So you know the idea of like you get it. If you don't lose it. If you forget about it, it's gone. And I told her about it. I told her about it at the end of the year. I said, you know that time that we talked? And she said, yeah. I said, I'm so sorry if I was distracted. Oh, no, you were fine. But I kept it in my head.
Oh, my God.
So.
Well, I'm glad you did. I'm sure many people are. I love that lyric. I'm going to let my smile be my fashion.
Going to use my smile as a fashion. Going to let my love be in action.
I love that. Yeah, and thank you for letting me hum along.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm like, we're a good team here. Go, take it on the road.
I just hear that, and I just can't help it. It's so inspiring to just sing along. So, guys, this is kind of ad lib here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now, so let's talk a little bit about Bali. Can we just a little bit chat about how amazing that was? And I also want to preface us by saying, it feels like a lot of us these days are stepping out a bit, sort of have been doing doing a thing for a long time, and now it's like, woo, like Ricky Byers-Beck with doing Raj. I was really proud of her for stepping out to do that, because I know it took a lot of nerve to do it, and she did it, and it was what it was, and it's like next year's another opportunity, but the idea of following our dreams and deciding we're not too old, or we're not too lazy, or hey, let's just come on, go for it, let's do it. So that was kind of like what Bali was for you, right?
It absolutely was. And my wife's mother passed away last October 26th, and Susie went through a dark, and my
You
brother
mean,
had passed.
you mean this past like 3 weeks ago?
No, just
Oh,
a year ago. Just
Oh, yeah,
celebrated
yeah.
the year anniversary.
Oh,
And my
right.
brother had passed last July 27th after a 57-day battle with cancer.
Oh goodness
So
gracious.
it was kind of a blessing because I've seen so many people waste away. But she was 94, but still, it's really hard. But the day after she passed, Susie had a dark night, and she began writing a bucket list. Like, what haven't I done? And she put on the list, do retreats with Jamie, take William, and Bali was on the list. And the day after she got back from being with her mother, she was with her mother for the last 5 days. We buried her mother in Nolans. And then a week later, Susie came home after closing the apartment and getting her things in order. She got an email from this man, Scott Ewing, who said, I see that you and your husband, I'm familiar with Jamie's music for years. I've heard him at North Hollywood, and I really love his music, but I see that you're doing a workshop together. I'm wondering if you guys ever would consider leading a retreat in Bali. Seriously.
Oh my goodness.
So we started negotiating with them, and that's how it unfolded. And I was shocked. And this is probably ridiculous, but I was thinking, why is anybody going to want to travel with me? And I was very lackadaisical and really, really putting it out there. I mean, I've got friends like Janice Stanfield and Karen Drucker who, they do these trips and they get a ton of people do it, but they talk about it everywhere they go. I barely talked about it.
Yeah, I didn't know you were even doing it until just like a week before on Facebook or something.
And then when I went on the trip to hear the people talk about, like, oh yeah, my friend Rita Rogers from Oakland, 3 people from Oakland came, and some people from Agape. I mean, we had 28 people, and they were like, we just love your music, and we just thought, oh, we've always loved Bali. That would be great. Susie and Jamie and Bali.
Oh, so cool.
So it was beautiful. The first part of our trip was in Ubud, and the thing about the culture there is that they are so overt about their spirituality. It's a very large Hindu population, very loving, very open-hearted. Everybody was just lovely, and things just didn't go as fast as they go here,
Right.
except the traffic. There's motor scooters all over the road. And it was like we did the 13.5-hour flight to Taipei, and then sat in the airport for 3.5 hours, and then a 5.5-hour flight from Taipei to Bali, and then an hour and 40 minutes going through to get our passport stamped and all that, and the visa, and then the van ride with all of these motor scooters. Oh my God, it was crazy, but it was. But they get around on motor scooters.
Yeah.
You see families of 4 on a motor scooter, not a motorcycle, a motor scooter.
Whoa.
You'd be amazed at the things that you can move on a motor scooter. We saw something, big plate glasses, and we saw, and aside from that, every yard has a little temple that they give their offerings in, that they build these beautiful temples, and every house is like a compound where the grandparents live with them, and everybody has a little temple for their particular house where they give offerings. And every village, different village, one village is doing batik, and the next village is doing wood carving, and the next village is doing stonework, and the next village is doing beads. And it was fascinating, and it was beautiful, and we were just steeped in the presence.
Well, the thing that I love about Bali is that also with the ritual, the holidays, the sacredness, the celebrating of everything. I think there's like 5 celebrations a week or something, and then you're either preparing for the celebration, having it, or cleaning up from it, and then going right into the next one.
Right.
And what a way to live life,
Right.
What a way to
Absolutely.
live life. I mean, sometimes I think in the Western world, I listen to people and they say, oh, well, things are just getting so much worse. And, people speak like that a lot. And they say, oh, well, humanity is just a certain way and it has to be a certain way. And it's like, actually, it doesn't. And there are ways where people, and it's happening right now. I happen to know with the Bushmen in Africa, how people live together beautifully. It does work. We can do it. As humans, you, me, we can do it.
Well, it's the whole idea of what are you paying attention to?
I like that question.
What are you paying
Love
attention
that
to?
question.
And when I worked at the school, kids would come from around the world, and it's like, oh my God, the United States is not what we thought it was, or Hollywood. It's like it really depends on where you're looking from,
Right.
Because you know, you got the Vedanta Center right at the top of Vine.
Yes.
And I mean, you've got some of the most enlightened human beings on the planet here in this city.
Yes.
And they've come here.
Yes.
They've been here for, you know, ever since things started taking off in Los Angeles. And, you know, you have the child pornographers
Right,
and
exactly.
everything in between. But it depends on where you're looking from and what you're paying attention to. Because
Yes.
I found Agape, you know, and there's a lot of other, you know, I used to go to a place called The Hiding Place. It was a Christian fellowship before I got to Agape. It was a lovely Christian fellowship. That
There's-
was great. It was open at the top.
And there's actually also the beautiful Self-Realization Fellowship
Absolutely.
with
I
Yogananda.
used to go there too. Yeah.
Yeah. I started
Shrine.
going there when I was 16, and that's, I don't know if you know this, but that's the only place on earth where Gandhi's ashes actually are.
Really?
Yeah, he was great buddies with Yogananda, as you
Wow.
probably know, and Yogananda actually taught Gandhi Kriya Yoga, and so
Wow.
when Gandhi passed away, the ashes were one place in India and at the Lake Shrine.
Wow. I
And
didn't know that.
50 years after he passed away, it was in his will that he wanted the ones in India to be let go in the Ganges River, and the ones here are still there. So, yeah, so there are
beautiful.
many places around.
Yeah.
And again, you and I were talking before the show about sort of what is sacred, what
Right.
is the meaning of life? No, but you know, where can one find sacredness? Everywhere.
Right.
I'll just briefly say, like you know, Desmond Tutu has that sort of hilarious story about wherever you are on the elephant, that's where you are. And again, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but if you're on the tusk is hard and white. And if you're at the tail, it's skinny and long. And, you know, like you're saying, it's sort of your perspective. It's also kind of where you are at the time and what you are seeing. And we were talking about your music and sort of how you frame it or like that. And talking about being kind of a corny chick when I was young, but playing guitar and sitting on the bed and singing James Taylor's songs to God or to my own spirit, you know, and I'm sure that doesn't surprise you. He was pretty sacred actually in his
Absolutely.
way on his
Absolutely.
journey that he was in. But yeah, just being able to find it anywhere, and it is everywhere, I think.
Yeah. Reverend Nirvana Gale once told me, we were talking, he used to be, you know, assistant minister at Agape. He and Reverend Michael were very close for a long time and still are. But he said, you know, even these gangster rappers that are talking about bitches and hoes and busting a cap in your ass, he goes, you know, they're all on a path to God.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, you know, it just might not look the way we want it to look. Like you said, you know, your Pollyanna, you know, qualities and stuff like that. I was kind of curious, what did it blow up into after the Pollyanna? But it's like, we're all on this path. And it may just look different. And it's like, and what I have to remember, aside from keeping my heart undefended, is to let go of my judgmental mind that wants to judge another's path as less significant than mine.
Okay, so just with that point with the judgmental thing, so you're asking what the Pollyanna blew up to. I was Pollyanna, and even my mom died when I was 10. I mean, that didn't throw me off. I was still playing guitar and singing and baking cookies and doing spiritual work from the time I was 2, actually. But then I had a relationship that I wasn't expecting. I was kind of like sand on the beach, and the wave came and sort of, you know, I just wasn't ready for it.
Right.
So that opportunity, I mean, it was an opportunity, in a lot of ways, absolutely cut me into little pieces and threw me somewhere under the rug.
Right.
And I got very humble. I got very compassionate. I, before that time, was a bit judgmental myself. I was so spiritual. I was like, what's the matter with these people? Can't they
Right.
just figure it out? I mean, why are you sad? Why are you having issues? Just know that, you know, God or is all taking care of it. Just get over it, people.
Right.
I had no, you know, kind of earthly compassion. After that, boy, humility, compassion in spades. So that is what brought me here. And that is why I now can understand and know what you're saying is true. I listen to rappers. I listen to the anger and all of that, and I know that's exactly what it is. It's anger, it's fear, and it's the screaming and the yelling has always come from the youth. You know, I mean, you think of the civil rights, you think of the Les Mis days. I mean, those were young people who were coming up and singing and stomping and saying, I'm not taking it. We can't have life this way. We can't. We can't.
Right. The Occupy movement as well.
Right. The Occupy movement. It comes from like we're just mad as hell and we're not taking it anymore, and that's okay. I think.
Absolutely.
So and then for me, really knowing that we all just have these different journeys, and like you were saying in the beginning of our show, there's no I'm not right, you're not wrong.
Right.
We're just doing what we're doing. And we're going through it however we know how to do it.
Yeah.
And even as a mom, there were times, that's of course very humbling too. My first son, I was like the perfect mother, and my second one totally humbled me. Showed me, no son, you thought you had it down, I'll play with you with that one. Right. And they both ended up being, really amazing people, but it was really that feeling of like letting go of what I felt that I did wrong, and all that, judgment. So now I'm a lot better about that actually, because I've gone through so much, stuff that I realized that we're even studying the Quran, even knowing again with what is in the Quran and what the actual message there, the actual deepest message is, we believe what we believe. It's a way of life. It is not a religion.
Right.
Just like Christian Scientist is not a religion, nor would anything Yogananda say, or many, or Buddha.
Right.
It's not. It's just people do what you do. Be inspired by me, but don't be putting, things to me and all that. It's not about me. It's about you, and it's about God, and it's about humanity. And and that's what it says in the Quran. It's like, we believe what we believe, but hey, if you're doing what you're doing and it's good and you're not hurting me, you are going to go to heaven too. But, a lot of people think it's not that way. So I like to myth bust. So John tells me, our engineer, who also has an amazing show, so guys, tune into that. A couple of quick things, because we have like 4 minutes, and I want to end. I think what we'll do, instead of going out to dancing in the streets, unless Jamie actually knows a version of Dancing in the Streets. I
only know my own stuff.
Oh, okay.
For the most part.
But maybe we'll go out to something cool of yours. What is there any myth busting you want to do? Is there anything you want to share with us, or ask me, or something that you think where people think the world is flat, that you've sort of gotten through yourself?
What I've told I worked with teens for a lot of years. I did teen camps and did music and they loved my music, and a lot of kids grew up singing my songs. But what I would always say to them is that, I'm not here to convince you that this philosophy is for you. I think it's important that you go out and do the homework to find out what works for you, to have the best relationship with God that you can have, to live your best life, to suspend judgment of the way everybody else does it, and just live a good life and live in harmony, and recognize that there's no right and wrong in God. If you're desiring to have a relationship with God, be it with Buddha or Allah or yoga or tree hugging or Jesus,
That's right.
I've even had an amazing healing around Jesus. It's like, have it, and you know what? No one else is wrong in the way that they're having a relationship with God.
That's right. And nature, be a
Nature,
surfer and
absolutely.
just be
Oh, a
right
surfer,
there.
absolutely.
Indeed. So while I'm going to kind of wrap up here, Jamie, this has been like a blast.
Thank
I
you.
had such a fun time with
Sunny.
you.
Thank you, John.
I want to quickly just tell people a couple of things. Okay, remember, Marianne's running for Congress. So on November 20th, you guys can come to Lincoln Middle School at 7:30. November 20th, I think it's next Wednesday, and she's doing sort of her first political, guys, I'm here, come hear what I have to say. So whether you're voting for whoever or you're doing whatever, just come and hear what she has to say. I really implore you to do that. And I'm telling you, you'll learn something. I'll bet you a latte you will learn something. So
Is she going to stream that? Because I'll be in Detroit.
No, she will not.
Detroit.
She will not. At
Yeah.
this point, she's not doing that because she
That's
wants
cool.
people to just be there, and So that, I also want to tell you guys that my really, really, really good friend is doing an event that I want you guys to know about. Mark Payne is one of my great friends, and he's a phenomenal 3-time award-winning, Emmy award-winning artist. And he is going to be doing Liza Minnelli at the West Side Comedy Theater this Sunday. So come and check that out. It's at 7 o'clock, and tickets are $15. I'm all commercial now. And also, World Wisdom Days is a really amazing event that's happening in Sedona. We may have to connect you with that.
Love
Gene
that.
Houston will be there. Don Miguel will be there. And so we'll just go on the website, World Wisdom Days in Sedona. Snow, it's going to be beautiful. And so before we like sing out, people, you have a new record out called Naked. Maybe
Naked,
we'll end
exactly.
with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so your new record is Naked. Where are you going to be playing next?
Actually, in Kalamazoo, Michigan, I'm doing a house concert
Oh,
at
wow.
Rainbow Weldon's house.
Oh,
And then I'll be at
phenomenal.
the Renaissance Unity that Marianne used to be at.
Oh, cool.
I'll be at her old church singing there on the Sunday and Wednesday. And the next thing around here, geez, I don't have anything around here yet.
Well, and you have a page. You have a web
I have a
page.
webpage,
Yeah.
www.jamilula.com.
And you guys, I
jamilula.com.
mean, Jamie, this is just a little teeny hors d'oeuvre taste. So come and check him out, and then find out also, you know, at Agape when he's going to be there next, which is such a treat. So let's go out to Jami Lula. Thanks, guys. This is Sunny
Thanks, Sunny.
Chayes with Singing in the Rain, and we're going to sing out.
Oh, naked. Yes, I'm naked. You can't see me. Naked. Yes, I'm naked. You can't see me. 'Cause I've been hiding behind my garbage, hiding behind my armor. Naked, yes, I'm naked. You can't see me. Oh, frozen, I've been frozen in my history. Frozen, I've been frozen in my history. But I've been thawing in your love light, thawing in your love light. Frozen, I've been frozen in my history. Oh, dying, I've been dying to what I've been. Oh, dying, I've been dying to what I've been. But I've been rising like Jesus showed me, rising like Jesus showed me. Dying, I've been dying to what I've been. Oh Lord, use me. Oh, won't you use me right where I am right now, Lord. Use me. Oh, won't you use me? Naked, Lord, I'm naked. Can you use me? Oh, naked, Lord, I'm naked. Will you use me? 'Cause I've been hiding and I've been frozen, dying and I've been rising. Naked, Lord, I'm naked. Will you use me? Naked, Lord, I'm naked. Will you use me?